Welcome to Lesson 11 in our series of how to have fun with hand drums. I said at the beginning that I wanted to help you sound more professional. I know everybody wants to play like a pro drummer when they first start out, but that takes a lot of practice. We also talked about some good ways that you could practice in a drum circle where people are keeping the rhythm going around you, but you can try some of these patterns and see if you can develop your own ways to embellish them or create your own patterns. Now, I want to take it into the idea that some of these patterns can get pretty complex. When we talk about percussion ensembles, a lot of the times when you hear a West African pattern, for instance, if there's just one part, it's not necessarily the whole rhythm. The rhythm that I showed you for cuckoo, that's not instantly recognizable as cuckoo because it could be a dozen other different rhythms. And if you don't have a song going along with it, you have no context to tell what that is. And so if you heard the second rhythm, which I kind of remember, do you guys remember the old Cocoa Puffs commercial? I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. The first time I ever heard somebody playing this rhythm, if you could picture that first part, love to drum, I love to drum, ba boom ba da. Bop, boom, ba da. Then picture this coming in on top. I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, cuckoo, Cocoa Puffs. So it would actually be the combination of those two rhythms from two or more players that are playing together that create the sound of cuckoo. So a lot of rhythms from around the world work like that. When we're talking about some of my favorites, the Afro-Cuban ensembles. I love the music from the Caribbean, and there's so many different forms. When you say, I mentioned reggae in the last lesson, when you say reggae in Jamaica, that's like saying rock and roll here in the States or Europe. There's so many different types. There's old rock, new rock, classic rock, hard rock, soft. It goes on and on. There's that many different types, but we hear certain things, and I like to share rhythms that have different phrases. And so one of the types of reggae rhythms is what we call a one drop. We're going to put that big bass in the middle of the beat, and this actually starts with a musical space or a rest. So what I want you to do is I want you to start off by saying and put your hands up. Make a sound, but that just provides space. Then the second stroke, you're going to play reggae on the edge, and then you're going to split between the middle and the edge and say music. Now it goes like this. You'll say reggae music, reggae music, reggae music, reggae music. So that's one that could go with Three Little Birds by Bob Marley, or you could sing, a lot of reggae songs to the top of that. Just put on your favorite reggae station and jam along. The music of Puerto Rico, there's a rhythm called bamba that I love to play, and it's really similar to that drum circle jam rhythm that I showed you before, the right, left, right, left, right. It's kind of like that, but it's also based on a little influence of clave. Clave are two sticks that we play together, and it's also the name of the rhythm. The most popular son clave, we can play clave, we can play clave. And then rumba clave moves, you have a 3-side and a 2-side. You have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. The rumba clave just changes one note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. You could also flip those, and you could do the 2 first and then the 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So you could phrase it different ways, and depending on the song style, sometimes you even change in the middle of a song. That is actually a great rhythm that you can practice on the drum. Have you ever heard somebody play like this? Boom, 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 pop, pop. That clave rhythm is embedded into so much of our popular music that if you learn that, in fact, let's even break it down a little bit, because that gets us back to the bamba of Puerto Rico and how we feel the tertiary side, the 3 side. Boom, 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 boom. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Tell me that sounds familiar to you. You've heard that in your favorite pop music. And so it's embedded in so much of our modern music. Now think about this. the traditional cultures from around the world had resources that they made their drums or made their instruments from, and that gave their culture a particular sound. Then their contribution to modern music was how they used that to create a foundation for their popular songs. Then we heard the popular songs, we sang and played along, and that became music influenced by that part of the world. So when we talk about Afro-Cuban music, it's based on the African traditions, and a lot of those rhythms, like that tertiary beat, can be traced all the way directly back to sources in Africa. But in Cuba, they started to play conga drums, and they started to play other percussion instruments along with their ensembles, and it gave it a different flavor. The new flavor was salsa. Think about it. If you take a big tortilla chip and scoop up salsa, put it in your mouth, do you only taste onion or tomato, cilantro, vinegar? All those flavors are in, but they mix together to form a new style of music. And so the music of salsa is very diverse. Again, it's like saying rock and roll or reggae. So back to the Puerto Rican bamba, it sounds like this. I like bamba, I like bamba. Now, if you break this down, can you tell where those notes are falling? 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and. So if I counted sixteenths, I could even count it in eighth notes, or we said that counting was relative, so you can kind of figure out what works best for you. A lot of the times I count eighth notes when I'm playing a slower tempo, and I'll count sixteenths when I'm saying a faster rhythm. But all these come together, and maybe you want to play a simple rhythm. For instance, cha-cha-cha is a form of salsa too. And you could play that as simple as un, dos, cha-cha-cha. Back to our very first rhythm that we jammed on. Oye, como va? You guys probably know songs that go along with that. And so rhythms of salsa can start as simple as that, or you can play off of the clave. We can play clave, we can play clave. That rhythm has influenced so many other parts of music around the world. We think about the song, a lot of the jazz songs, and we think about New Orleans being a melting pot. We're going down to Mardi Gras, down to New Orleans. We're gonna bring all our drums out and jam in the streets, singing hey now, Aiko, Aiko, Ande, Giacomo Fina, fine, Giacomo Fina. Have you heard that before? Aiko, Aiko. So that rhythm is something that we hear popping up all the time. So as you learn these rhythms from around the world, find ways to make them fit into the music that you like. It may not even be in the same musical style. You can create this diaspora based on the traditional cultures by just playing what you feel, feeling what you play. Remember, if you're smiling, you're doing it the right way. I'm Jeff Holland. Thanks for liking and subscribing to the YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, but don't forget to ring that notification bell so you can see the next video coming up.